Hi everyone! So in today's episode, we are going to be going over the top 6 things.
Not 5.
6 to know before you book your first suite. And be sure to stay tuned till the end because we have, I think, the most helpful tip of them all. So let's get into the video. We are Emma and Jack Lindsay. Together with our daughter, we love to travel and experience different places. How we get there and what we do is always different. Life is too short, so get out and live a little. So in this episode, we are predominantly going to be talking about the suites in NCL, Royal Caribbean, as well as Celebrity. We have some more planned for the future and then we will update this video, but for right now, those are the ones that we are predominantly going to be discussing and comparing and contrasting.
Yeah, we feel that that's probably most people's first suite experiences on one of those cruise lines.
So our very first tip is make sure to pick a good location.
Okay, that's not how it's worded. It's location, location, location.
I mean, you're going on vacation usually to go see something. Of course, there are people that go on the cruise just for the ship, but we think it's really important to pick where you want to go and what new area you want to explore and check out.
Yeah, because when you're picking a suite, if you're going to Antarctica, which we've never been, but it's on the list.
It's on the list.
versus the Caribbean or the Mediterranean, completely different cruise suite experience you want. If you need to be indoors all the time because of the location, that'll drive a different decision than if you're going to be outdoors in the Caribbean enjoying the sun. So when you're booking your suite is pick the location that you want to experience the most. Our favorites are kind of outdoorsy, so we like Alaska.
We love Alaska.
We love Alaska. So we pick a suite that justifies or is designed for Alaska versus something that's designed for the Caribbean. So when you're booking it, the reason we specify location, location, location first, because that will change what kind of ship class you're going to look at to experience. If you want to go to the Norwegian fjords and you want to be an outdoorsy with a view, you're going to want a suite on a smaller ship because those ships can get into the fjords. Now, when you go to Alaska, if you want to be closer to glaciers, get to go more experiences, you're going to want a suite on a smaller ship.
So you can get closer to those glaciers, yeah. Similar things. Maybe go to more ports than you would have in a bigger ship.
But in the Caribbean, like the bigger ships, the smaller ships, they all go to the same port. That doesn't really just change your mind. So if you wanted to go to the Caribbean and you're looking for a big ship with more amenities, that's going to dictate it. So always start with location first. Okay,
next point is that the cruise line itself matters. I think this is a very big one. I think you really have to think about who you're traveling with, what's important to you as a family or a couple or a single person. If you have kids, Royal's probably your number one choice, and then you can go off of it from there depending.
So point 1 is location because that dictates everything. Cruise line is almost on parallel with location. So, because not all cruise lines go to the same locations, but that's why we suggest starting with location. But on the cruise line, do you want a relaxing experience? Do you want a more family friendly, like a teenager age kid activities? Or do you have younger kids that want more younger kid activities? Like all of that will change which cruise line you choose. Like if you're going for Serenity, I don't think any one other Celebrity gives you the true Serenity experience.
I mean, the NCL Haven gives you Serenity. I wouldn't say that you only would have to do Celebrity.
The couples Serenity.
I still think the Haven would.
Yeah, okay, so we disagree on this point. Okay, so like couple Serenity, to me, Celebrity. If you want a family Serenity, it's the Haven. If you want fun activities on the ship for little kids, it's Royal. And those are the 3.
Yeah, I mean, I think the bigger thing is Royal is fantastic. If you've got a bunch of little kids, you're gonna have everything from slides, pools, mini golf, zip lining, big, huge dry slides. You have all of the splash pads. You have all of the fun kids activities.
What are you talking about? On Celebrity now you have pickleball.
For NCL, you still have some fun kids activities, but I would say they're maybe geared towards a slightly older kid. You have the virtual reality area. They both have arcades, so you got the arcades there.
AKA Poppy's favorite.
Yes, now Poppy's favorite. Go-karts.
There are go-karts on cruise ships now.
You have go-karts if you're with NCL. They have some slides as well, so they still have some of the kids stuff. But then if you go into celebrity, I would say they have more like adult activities like pickleball, or we did curling. That was fun.
They have no slides.
They have no slides. They have no water parks. They have a pool. In the bar, they have really fun shows where they do the what am I looking for? What's the word? The
cocktail shows.
Cocktail shows. So I still think a kid could enjoy celebrity, but I think you just have to be aware that you're not going to have the typical things that you would see on like Royal Caribbean or NCL.
Yeah, and just remember, like, when you're looking at the cruise line too, don't get hung up necessarily with what everything it has on the ship. Because if you take a big ship with, like, say, Norwegian or Royal to Norway when it's cold, like, the slides, you're not using the slides.
Yeah, I think that's a big point, because we almost booked one, and it was a ship that was a predominantly outdoor ship, and it was going to go to Iceland, and I was like, I just don't know if it's worth this newer ship that's predominantly outdoors. Like, I feel like everybody's going to be stuck inside, and I just don't know if this is the best ship for that location. So it's just something to consider when you're looking at all of your points.
Yeah, and if you have any questions when you're looking at your trips on which cruise line or which ship we would suggest, I mean, we haven't been on that many cruises or that many, but we can kind of give our opinion. If you leave a comment below, we'll get back to you as quickly as we can. Okay, this is the one that usually is the biggest surprise, or people think is like what breaks it down. Like, I can never do a suite. It's truly, there's a sticker shock when you see the price the first time you're booking. And the ranges on suites can go anywhere from a couple thousand more than a balcony cabin to like $30,000 to $40,000 more than a balcony cabin. We've only traveled in the lower end of the suites from the price range. It's just, we want the suite experience, and we don't want to pay for an exorbitant amount of room.
And I think some lines do that better than others.
Yeah, but I think the one thing that most people forget when they're booking a suite is what comes with a suite. So for reference, like in Celebrity, if you book in the retreat, you get the premium Wi-Fi, the premium drinks, all your tips are included.
Obviously, if you'd like to tip extra, you can.
You get access to the retreat, so you have your own experience. It's just a value that normally you would have to pay for if you book a balcony cabin. The drinks alone can go like $400 to $500 depending on your cruise per person, and up from there. Yeah, and then Wi-Fi, like to get the premium Wi-Fi on most ships now, it's like $100
a day.
Total per person. So like you get it in Celebrity, that's all included. So you're not adding additional cost on it at the end of your trip. It's really the cost. Like, I'm sure you have extra tips and things that you have to cover, but like that's your cost. You're not ending with a huge bill at the end of your cruise, which I think takes away a lot of stress when you're traveling on a cruise in the suite. There's slight variation depending on your cruise ship. I think.
So let's talk about them.
Yeah, like NCL, you always get the free at sea, so you get all the free at seas.
Which includes?
Drinks, Wi-Fi, but only like a 75-minute Wi-Fi, I believe is the total. You get 2 specialty dinings, and you can use the airfare if you would like, plus $50 shore excursion per room. For each port. So you still need to add on your tips. You probably need to upgrade your Wi-Fi on NCL, and they do offer a premium drinks package that you can add on to get you top shelf. We haven't done that yet.
We haven't found a huge need for it in the Haven, at least.
So we really haven't done that. And then the Royal, you don't get as much.
Yeah, Royals especially, where the price really changes from like just a little bit more than a balcony all the way up to those extremely expensive rooms.
We're going to do one of those one day. If I can ever find them on a good sale, or someone wants to pay for us to go, we will gladly volunteer to do that experience for you.
But Royal also, it depends on what your perks are based off of what ship you are actually on. So it kind of seems like almost any ship does have a happy hour at night where that includes some free drinks and little snacks. And then if you're on some of the newer, bigger ships, you get wine and beer between the hours of 11 and 11, but only in dedicated bar for the suite. And then they also have their own restaurant, but honestly, I don't think Coastal Kitchen is that elevated compared to some of the others.
No, so we'll
go into that in a little bit.
Yeah, just to sum it up, like when you see the price, do the math on what those other packages that you would already probably be paying for if you booked a balcony would range, and then look at the differential. If the differential is like $1,000 and it's within your budget, like 100% do the sweet.
It's worth it.
It's worth it. If it is like $10,000 and it's going to push you out of your budget, by no means splurge on a sweet if it goes beyond your budget. There are opportunities as you move along towards your sale date where you can upgrade for a cost. We actually just changed a booking we have coming up. We moved from the Haven aft-facing penthouse, which is just
You're going to give away where we're in?
Yes.
Okay, that's something to look forward
We're going
to.
back on the Haven on the Encore. We were going to do the aft-facing penthouse, one bedroom, because we're going with Poppy, so it'd be good to have a bedroom. I made a call. We were monitoring online. Upgraded to the 2-bedroom in the Haven for $50.
With a large balcony.
With a large balcony for $50.
For the entire time, like
So,
total
like,
$50 more.
Well, that was upgrading within a Haven to another Haven class. Like, you can do this from a balcony to a suite. So just monitor their cost, and sometimes you can find a good deal at the end. You also have to be flexible.
And also try the bid ups. You never know. On a bid up, you can definitely get it. The only thing with bid ups I would suggest is looking into them a little bit more in detail of what you actually get depending on the cruise line. Because I know, like Celebrity, if you get the bid up, you don't get the Wi-Fi and the drinks. You get whatever you had previously booked, or the tips. But you still get access to Lumine, which is their specialty dining. You get access to the lounge and the sun decks and stuff like that. You just don't get some of those extra perks. So just check it with each line on what you do get.
Yep.
Okay, the next topic is food and drinks. My favorite of them all.
Both, or just the food?
Well, mostly the food, but drinks is a really good one too.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Liquid calories are just as good as regular calories.
So, going into the food and drinks, I think this is a big one, especially if you're gonna book a suite. You get added perks with the food and drinks on most suite classes. Some are better than others.
Yes, and you get, so when you book a suite on most cruise lines now, you get access to a specialty dining restaurant every day. So like Retreat, it's Lumine. Haven, it's the Haven restaurant. Royal Caribbean, it's Coastal Kitchen. And they are, I would say, for Norwegian and Celebrity, the best specialty dining on the ship.
Hands down.
Yes, 100%. And everyone on the ship knows that.
Yes. And you can only get access to it if you are in one of the suite rooms. Like, you don't just get it, you can't pay for it extra.
Now, Royal's a different animal, and I think we've all seen our Royal video. It's not our favorite, the Coastal Kitchen, so I'm just going to leave it at
But Coastal Kitchen, you can get access to if you are in a junior suite, or as of filming this. And
Pinnacle,
I believe, can also get access to Coastal Kitchen as well. So that's also just something to keep in consideration. But now going into the food between NCL and Celebrity, both of them have amazing food. I think the biggest point to point out is that Celebrity's menu changes every day. The breakfast menu stays the same, but lunch and dinner is a different menu. They do have a few staples that stay on the menu at all times, but otherwise it's a completely different menu. Where NCL, the Haven, it's the same menu of breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the entire trip.
Yep.
Which sometimes is nice. Like, there were some things that I was like, oh, I really want that again. And I could have it again.
So as we mentioned before, like the sticker shock, just remember you then get specialty dining every day for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And normally that would run you $50 a person, and it's included in your costs.
Keep in mind that honestly, the suites restaurants are the best ones on the ship. And I do suggest trying one or two of the other specialty dining, but they really are some of the best food on the ship for sure.
Okay, now on the drinks.
The other best part.
Yes, they have the best bartenders on the ship.
Yes.
And they will get you whatever you want. So not every...
As best as they can to their ability.
Yes.
As long as, like, within reason, you can't...
I think Emma had too much caffeine today. So, like, I have a drink that I love. Mezcal Palomas. Celebrity we just got off of. There was only one bar on the ship that has mezcal. And I really wanted to drink it out of the Retreat to have a mezcal drink. I told them one day, the next day there was a full bottle sitting on the shelf for me to get a Mezcal Paloma. Now, like, they don't do that at other bars in the ship. They do it for the suites if they can. And I think that is a benefit that you can't put a value on. Yeah,
and same with the Haven. You wanted a specific beer that they ran out of. They found it on the entire ship and brought them all.
Brought all of them.
All of them. You couldn't get them on any other bars. So they really do kind of try their very hardest to do as much as they possibly can for you.
Yep.
Which I think is a big deal. And some of them just make amazing drinks. I mean, you got the Haven where they do like smoked drinks and just really cool different drinks that you're just not going to get anywhere else. And so it's an added bonus.
Make sure you use it. Like,
oh yeah.
Go to that bar for your drink before a show. Heck, in the Haven, you can call your butler and he can deliver a drink from the Haven bar to you anywhere on the ship. So like, use the perk and you'll understand.
Sometimes there might be a little bit of it depends on your butler and the cost. They can't always deliver it to your room.
Not your room, anywhere on the ship.
Well, your room is on the ship.
True. Okay, exclude your room. Within reason, let's just leave it at that. Is that happy? Okay,
yes.
Good. You do get a little cell phone though to call them.
You do get a little phone.
So yes, food and drinks, huge benefit in the suite, and make sure you take that into account when you're looking at that price.
The next one is your room. You just get a bigger room. Like, it's a nicer, bigger, usually better amenities in it. Most of them will have tubs, which if you have children is very, very helpful, because most other cruise lines...
Or you have wives that like to take baths.
Or that. But like most other cruise lines don't have a bath, so that's a huge perk. You get usually a coffee maker in your room, some tea, and then your room just seems elevated. You have a little bit more storage.
Not on every ship.
On most ships, they seem elevated. If you need more hangers, they're more than happy to get you them. You usually have a robe.
Slippers, the Haven slippers.
Slippers, the Retreat and Haven slippers.
Actually, the Retreat has better slippers than the Haven does. I'm sorry, they do.
They're very similar, but they are a little bit nicer. They're a little more plush.
Your bathroom amenities are things that we could never afford to have at our house, so they're kind of nice.
Yes, you have really nice bathroom amenities. They're upgraded from what a normal cabin would have. And then your room just has way more space than a normal balcony.
The other thing now is like most cruise lines are moving to one service of your room a day, which makes sense. They're trying to keep prices within reason. From what I understand and from what we experienced is the suites are still getting 2 times a day service. So Emma gets a little chocolate on her pillow.
Yeah, they clean them during the day, and then you get like a little turn down service, which has been nice.
Yeah, sometimes we'll like let the steward know like
hey, you don't have to, we're fine, but we're easy.
It is nice that you still get the twice because it kind of feels like that upscale service of a 5-star resort.
Yes, I agree. And typically the rooms, hold on, I guess Jack came up with something, go.
Yeah, your rooms are usually the first ones ready. You're usually
that is very true.
So when you get on the ship, most of the times you can get to your room. It may not be fully done, but you can drop your stuff off, which...
I would say we did not experience that on Royal, but we did experience that with the Haven and the Retreat. They allow you to go in, drop any of your stuff off if you'd like. Even if the room's not finished, they have no problem with you going and just dropping some stuff off and checking the room out, and then you can go and explore, which if you have any carry-ons is definitely helpful because then you don't have to carry it and lug it around with you.
They usually have the best locations on the ship.
That's what I was going with. They typically have the best locations on the ship.
We're like this today.
For the most part, they do have the best locations. They're usually not underneath like the stages or the music venues or the clubs or anything that's going to typically give off some noises, or the gym. But I will say we have witnessed a few, one particularly in Royal. On our ship that we just went on the Symphony of the Seas, I was talking with a really nice couple, and they had said that they had paid for one of the, I think it's like the loft suites, which are typically on a little bit of a pricier range.
A little bit.
A good bit higher. And they looked out onto like the basketball court and the pickleball court, and they said it was just a really weird location, and it was very loud. And once I figured out from them explaining it where it was, I also noticed that the humongous, most expensive room of them all, the family suite, was also on that same like floor and looked out onto all of the super noisy, loud, like it didn't seem as private. And so I found that interesting with Royal, but I feel like for the most part, most of the other ones tend to give you like the best locations as they can.
Yep, I would agree.
And to add to that location part, Celebrity and Royals are all spread out, but CL's is all within one.
Most within.
Majority of their suites are within the Haven proper itself. There are a handful of suites like the forward facing or the aft facing that sometimes are not in, depending on the ship, because I know the newer ships are all aft. They're, for the most part, all within the Haven proper, so you kind of get that, you really, truly, with NCL, get that ship within a ship feeling, because everything is all together. You really don't have to leave that area if you didn't want to. And it just feels very cohesive and a nice flow.
Yes, you're cohesive today. I tell you, she had her caffeine because she is going on a mission. I almost forgot the one thing that we were supposed to say.
Or you wanted to say.
When you're talking about sweets, bigger is better. If you're enjoying the video, you like our content, want to see more, we would really appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button, and then the little thumbs up lets YouTube know you like the video and it helps us out.
The last point number 6, is, drum roll, perks.
I didn't know we were doing a drum roll.
We were there.
So, perks. So the perks, like, that's what everyone talks about in sweets. So typically you get a butler, or what do they call them, a genie in Royal Star class, and what those people are is kind of like your daily personal planner, concierge, like anything you need, you can use them for, within reason, of course. They do have certain things they're not allowed to do, but they will help you out. Like we just had Jose in the retreat, and it was lovely, and what we learned is if you have a butler you like and they're on the ship, you can make a request when you get on the ship to have that butler assigned to your room. So Jose let us know that that was the thing. We may see him again in a couple
future
months.
One, hopefully.
So super awesome. The butler will help you, can set up dining in your room, doesn't really do your shows.
But to that point, if you have, for celebrity at least, they were there when there was the reserved section, and they like brought you to your seat and made sure you were okay and everything. That was your butler for that one.
Yeah.
If you had a genie, they did the same thing on Royal. That's where Royal is weird though, because Royal, you have to hit a specific level.
Star class.
And it's star class, and that's where it starts to get very expensive.
We're not starry material.
We are not. We're not that cool.
No.
But you don't get a butler in Royal if you're just one of the entry-level suites. So that's also just something to keep into consideration when you are booking, that you don't get all of the same perks as like the Haven and the Retreat. For the most part, no matter what room you're in, you get most of the perks. Obviously, the higher up you go, there are some little extra things. Like I know Celebrity, you get pajamas that have like your initials on them, monograms.
Pajamas?
You do. You get monograms because we don't have that amount of money. And like I know NCL, the higher up you get, sometimes you'll get some alcohol in your room and things like that. But for the most part, your main big perks, they're all included with NCL and Celebrity. Yeah. So if we can go back to what the topic was, which was the butler, what they can do is they can help you with, like in the retreat, I gave up Coca-Cola as my New Year's resolution, and there was Coke in the fridge, and I was like, if it's there, I'm going to drink it. Jose took it out, refilled it with San Pellegrino, and kept that stocked the entire cruise. Not that I couldn't find it anywhere we were going, but that's super helpful. They also will set up dinner in your room or breakfast in your room if you get off the ship early. It's really awesome to have the butler set up breakfast. And if you're in like a 1-bedroom suite, they can actually do it and you can still be asleep and it'll be there when you wake up. It's kind of a weird experience, but we did that with NCL. We had a really early excursion. It was pretty awesome. And then like dinner, if you want to have dinner in your room, or like you need to change like your timing on stuff, like the butler will help you out with that. And then kind of like if you need anything else for your room, they're there for you. The only thing I want to add with the getting food to your room that I think is a big point is NCL, you can get the food from the Haven restaurant. With Celebrity and Royal, you can only get from the main dining room, not from their specialty dining. So that's just another thing just to keep into consideration. Wait till people see our Celebrity versus Haven. Yeah, and we are not going to align. I'm just going to let you know. So enjoy that video. It should be an interesting one because we're not on the same page. Stay tuned. Okay. Next is concierge. So usually on a ship, you have to go wait in the line for the concierge. Sometimes you can book a balcony cabin that gets you access to a concierge, but still you're waiting. In the suite class, you have your own concierge for the suites, which is really awesome. You can literally, there's never a line, maybe like 1 or 2 people. Maybe, yeah. But they can take care of everything. Like if you forgot to make a reservation, they will do everything in their power to make sure you can get a reservation when you want it. Now, it may not always happen. Or switch one or whatever. But a lot of times if they can't make it happen, they'll be like, hey, but I can get you this. Is this an option you would be willing to do? And they're like,
Yes, 100%. They can also schedule you with the Cruise Next. Instead of making an appointment with Cruise Next or Future Cruise, they will come to the Suite Lounge and meet with you and book it then. So it's like a dedicated time with them. Best time to book a cruise is while you're on a cruise because you get a lot of perks. We love concierge.
Yeah, and I have to say, every single one of the concierge we've had on all 3 lines have been amazing. Like, I have nothing bad to say about any one of them. They were all absolutely amazing on each line.
Next is you're always the first to embark and you're always the first to disembark. Or
if you'd like.
Or if you're like us, you're the last people to get off the ship when you're on the Encore.
We're just having too good of a time.
Yeah, so like that's a huge benefit. You get escorted to get off the ship, which you're not waiting in the serpentine lines because those are back. There's no one follows the rules on you're supposed to get off at X time. Like
or standing there waiting for an elevator for like 20 minutes just to get down because you have a baby.
They usually lock out an elevator. That's just for suites, and they'll send you straight down to where you need to go, or they'll personally walk you off the ship. Sometimes it's great.
We've had all of the above, yeah.
Yeah, and that they usually do that at the ports of stop as well as when you're getting off the ship back at home port.
And you usually embark the ship like the day one earlier than the rest of the people, which is always kind of nice because one of my favorite things to do when you get on board is just to kind of walk around a little bit and check the ship out and just kind of get your bearings for where everything is. And it's nice to do that when there's not an excessive amount of people on board already.
Yeah, and then the last thing from a perk is, you know how everyone hates having to get to the shows early, or you're like, oh, there's no seats, I didn't get a ticket.
Or I'm in like a horrible area and I can't see great.
The suites have reserved seats. Now they hold them up until 15 minutes before the show, 10 to 15 minutes before the show. But you don't have to get there 45 minutes early and wait in line. You can literally show up 20 minutes before the show. There will be a seat for you.
Yeah, and I will say NCL's was always there.
And the waiters are always there.
Always true. The waiters are always there, and the waiters always kind of prioritize those suite areas a little bit faster than some of the others. With Celebrity, they don't have a reserved area for every single night. It's mostly just for the like dress to impress nights. But one of the shows we were like, I didn't want to sit in the reserved section, and our butler came and found us and we were in like the front row because I wanted to get some good shots. And he like came over, was talking to us, asking if he could do anything for us, and Jack's like, oh no, we're good. I think I just want to like order a glass of wine. He immediately found a bartender and sent him over to us, and he like got your drink way before anybody else's that he had just like written down. Yep. So there's just like little perks like that you kind of can't put a price tag on and that are nice.
Now there's a bunch of other perks that were probably not covered. Like these are the main ones we use. So like if there's a perk that you've learned or a trick you've learned when you're doing your suite travel, let us know in the comments below. Yeah,
and I think the only other one I would like to like mention, which is especially for the Haven and the Retreat, so NCL and Celebrity, is that they all have their own pool, which is a very big thing if you, like we're not huge pool goers. I mean, Ginger, he kind of...
Just wait till you see the Celebrity episode.
We weren't there for that long,
I was like sunbathing.
That is nice. It's a nice perk to have your own like pool or sun deck area, which they're usually not as crowded as the rest of the pool if that's like your thing on a cruise. Royal had one, but they didn't have their own pool. They just had like a sunbathing loungy deck. But I do think that is a pretty big perk to include with everything else. And then the lounges are just nice, having that like space just to kind of relax. That's usually quiet and get a little snack or a drink or what have you is just a huge perk.
Yeah. So you mean to end this one?
Go for it.
Okay. Well, so these are the top 6 things that we look at as the perks, the benefits, or how we book suites. So it's not all encompassing. It's just the top 6 things that help you make a decision. If you have any suggestions, anything else that you think of that would help people while they're booking their suite or get to the suite experience, leave it in the comments below. I'm sure everyone would love it, even including us and the rest of the channel would love to see other ways the benefits of the suite come through. So till next time, get out and live a little, guys. Bye. Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay. Baby, don't you stop. Go-karts. But I totally did that wrong. The last perk is perks. Let me just go ahead and get this. No.